Yes, welcome to episode 129 of the Oklahoma Real Estate Show. Today's show, a little bit of a short one for you here. I do this occasionally, keep you guessing at what content I'm going to do next. Today I want to mention that this broadcast is commercial free. It's always been commercial free. All episodes. I purposefully select the demonetization button on the YouTube broadcast because I'm so tired of all these commercials popping up everywhere on your YouTube experience. It really does get outrageous, so you will never see commercials on our YouTube broadcast simply because it's just super saturated now. So let's jump into today's show. Now, this is not the numbers show. The numbers show is the beginning of every single month, and the reason why is because the MLS system basically aggregates all the data at the end of the month. So the new month begins, and now we get a good granular data. So that way the first episode of every single month has the most accurate data on it. So that's coming up next week. This week, though, I do want to talk a little bit about some of the FHA payments rolling off. I want you to understand where first-time home buyers are at, or if you're a first-time home buyer yourself, what you're looking at when you start filling out those mortgage applications. I'm going to talk about some news here, and then we'll wrap up. Tax day happened this last week, and many of you turned it in. Many of you filed extensions. Not a great day looking forward to, but I did notice some changes there on the way the refunds work. It seemed to be that if you didn't owe taxes, you didn't get the refund for the child tax credit. That's what I saw on our taxes. Wow, interesting. That's a change that I haven't seen before. So if you didn't owe taxes and you got a child credit, they weren't going to mail you your $2,500 or $4,000 check this year, which impacts a lot of different sales incentives that usually go on the car market. For example, bring your tax check, your tax rebate check, and we'll double it, on your down payment. So that's really interesting to see how that'll impact as well. Want to bring up the wholesaler market. Again, we're commercial free. We are broadcasting information to help you buy property in central Oklahoma. We get paid for brokering sales, whether you're a seller selling or you're a buyer buying. A lot of you, through frustration, you say, man, I just can't find a property deal. I've been waiting, and you run off into the wholesaler market. Could be things like the Old Western. I think there's a different name for them now, but these different wholesale connections, right? And you're trying to get a deal, and I want you to understand something very clear here. 2021, the Wholesaler Predatory Act was passed in Oklahoma that makes it to where if you wholesale property, you need to be a licensed agent. Now, why would they do that? Well, first and foremost, being a licensed agent, you're required to be truthful. In other words, if a seller comes to you as a licensed agent, you're supposed to be, provide their best interests in mind when you value their properties. So wholesalers, by very nature, typically are trying to find a win for both parties. That's the thing that they say or they tell themselves. But typically, you got to question yourself when you don't present a product to the fair market. When you've decided to withhold your property from the fair market, in other words, instead of going to the marketplace and advertising your product on a shelf, you decide to do a backdoor deal in an alley somewhere. You've got to understand what is going on there. What is happening? And typically what I find is that the seller is unaware of all their options, or their options are being presented in a way to where it looks like it's all the options, but it's not. So, that being said, if the wholesaler is lying to the seller about the value of their property, don't you think the wholesaler's lying to you as the buyer as well? I mean, why would they be loyal to you when they're not even loyal to their seller? They're not even, there's no loyalty. The loyalty is the payment that they're getting at closing. That's the loyalty. And that's what I've been finding so far to the ones that are successful, repeat business. Now, there are a few companies in town that, quote unquote, is a win-win for everybody. And there are cases where sellers don't want to sell their property on the market because they don't want people going in their house, and they have this anxiety and all that. And typically when I run into that person, all I have to say is your anxiety worth $25,000? And 99.999% of the time, they swallow their pride and they say, no, I would rather go on the market if it's going to cost me $25,000, and they go on the market. Whereas the wholesaler digs the key into the gut on saying, hey, you don't want anybody coming in your house, right? Lose the $25,000, sell to us, and then they mark it up $25,000 and sell it to you. So go find the deal if you want, but I'm telling you, after 7 years and over 10,000 hours of doing this, you buy a bad product, you put it inside the ground, and you water it, and you try to grow a good harvest. What do you get? You get a bad harvest, right? You reap what you sow. And what you're sowing right now, all right, that's my rant. Moving forward, tornado strikes. You may have seen the national news. Multiple people dead. Tornadoes coming through Oklahoma, causing damage. Yes, hail damage did happen. We've got some interactive maps on the website, oklahomarealestateshow.com, underneath the articles. The real detailed maps of where the hail damage was is about $100. I'm not paying for that for you, but you don't need that. What you need is a trusted roofing professional to come by your property and make sure you don't have any hail damage, okay? And I want to talk just real quick as a friendly reminder, if you've experienced hail damage on your property or an investment property, typically you have 1 year to put a claim on that property since the damage. Some insurance companies, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. Typically what I'm seeing now is 1 year, okay? So you want to make sure you didn't get damaged in the April 19th storm. Number one, if you have damage, you want to document that storm, right? When did it happen? How did it happen? Take as many pictures as you can, okay? Write down things that you may have experienced, those kind of things, because you might forget over time. When your insurance adjuster gets here, if you have a trusted contractor that you know, you can actually have them show up at the same time, and they love doing this because it gets them forefront on the deal, negotiating on your behalf against the insurance adjuster. Depends on where you are, what insurance company, what situation is, but typically you get the best situation when a trusted contractor is there, when the adjuster is there. They're going to be pointing out, hey, here's damage that I noticed, you might look at this, whereas the adjuster typically is trying to get through them as quick as they can, right? And so it's kind of a help to have a contractor there. So if you don't have a trusted contractor, that's okay. You can just have the insurance adjuster come out, and then once their bid comes in, have the contractor look over it, maybe multiple, or if you like it already, you're going, wow, that's a good amount. Have the insurance adjuster give their bid, what they're going to pay for the damages, and then have contractors, without knowing that bid, do their bid, and you might be surprised at how different they are. And a lot of people find some interesting stuff there on, I'm not saying you should benefit from a tax or from an insurance claim, because by law you're not supposed to benefit from it, but it has happened before. Come prepared with questions, right? That's step number 4. I think I brought that up. This whole 5 tips is on the Oklahoma Real Estate Show website, but come prepared with questions, having that list of questions beforehand, because as the adjuster's trying to rip through their field assessment, you may forget things that you wanted to ask. Hey, look at this room or this place. There may be portions of the home that they don't know to check that you might want to have them check. And they're also going to take pictures of the normal areas that weren't damaged, so be prepared for that. Step number 5 is just asking for a detailed explanation of their offer. Usually this comes out through Xactimate, which is the software that most insurance companies are using, and it's got a detailed estimate throughout it on, where the damages are, how much they're bidding for the damage, and then you can compare that to maybe your contractor's quote and that kind of thing. So good stuff. I want to talk a little bit about the Boxable. Boxable, you may be seeing them on your Facebook page, advertising accredited investors invest now in Boxable, which is a $50,000 portable home that is built and that you can put up on the property anywhere, and life's great. For $50,000, you can have a single family home put on any lot. There is a lot of misinformation out there on that company. I'm not going to get all the way into it, but I'm bringing it up because a lot of our investors have talked about seeing this and asked, hey, is this something I should get into? What's going on here? Long story short, if it seems too good to be true, it usually is. I want you to, if you're going to invest or thinking of investing in the Boxable $50,000 house, make sure you understand when they say we have permits or we have approved permits. That is a lot of people are looking at that and seeing that they're thinking, oh yeah, it's approved already. That seems to not be what's happening. The permits are not approved in all states and places, and that kind of thing is what I'm hearing. There's a great video on YouTube from a guy named Meet Kevin. Look at what his Boxable video is. He actually went to the campus, and then he breaks down on what they've said to him and some things that aren't aligning on that. So be very wary on the Boxable. Okay, moving on to the numbers. Okay, now again, next week's show is the numbers, but I want to show some numbers to you as a first-time home buyer, or maybe you're a seller getting ready to sell, and you need to understand what your buyers are up against. So this being I'm flashing on the screen for the YouTube guys, but the payment quotes for FHA, $150,000 home. And this is at this week's rate of 6.88. Now you may Google and find, oh, well, it's only 6.12. Look at the buy down. Typically, the advertised rates now are including a rate buy down fee. So look at that. Look at what the rate buy down fee. So I've subtracted the rate buy down, and I'm running the numbers that if you don't buy your rate down, you're typically going to pay in Oklahoma a 6.88% interest rate as of the 24th of April, 2023. Payment quotes for FHA, $150,000, including insurance, taxes, PMI, and this is with a 3.5% down FHA, $150,000 home coming in at $1,362 a month. A $200,000 home's coming in at $1,816 a month. That's $1,816 for a $200,000 house. A $300,000 house coming in at $2,725, a $400,000 house coming in at $3,632. Folks, that's those payments. That's the reality, and a lot of you may know that is less than or more than rent in those price points. I want to talk about the last 7 days sales records. This is stuff you will not get anywhere else. Last 7 days in the 100 to 180 price point. This is 10 square miles out from central Oklahoma. There was 24 homes sold in the price point from 100 to 180, 180K. These are 3-bedroom houses with 2 bath. This is the ideal, perfect first-time home buyer home, 3-bedroom, 2 bath, looking good, happy about life, 100 to 180,000. There were 11 conventional. So out of the 24, 11 of those were conventional loans. That's 46% of the home buyer market in the $180,000 to $100,000 home prices in central Oklahoma, in Oklahoma City. 11 of those were conventional. The lion's share, 46% conventional loan. FHA, 33%. That's 8 of those. And then cash coming in at just 21% now. 21% is cash. That is a huge departure from the last 24 months, whereas cash was almost taking the crop on every single one of them. We're seeing a reversal of that. So that being said, conventional is your highest chance of getting, except obviously cash, highest chance, but conventional, much more better chance of other than an FHA. None of these, it's important, none of them went VA loan. So if you're a veteran buying 180 and under, nobody accepted a VA loan the last 7 days in Oklahoma City. Now, another thing to say is 33% of buyers received a closing credit paid for by the seller. Now, there were all different amounts, but when I averaged them together, 1/3 of all buyers got an average of $3,500 closing credit from the seller at closing last week in Oklahoma City. That's the closing. So this is official. This is what happened. This is public record, our MLS record to say. So interesting stuff going on there. That being said, if you're a first-time home buyer, you need to contact us. There are a lot of misinformation out there. There's a lot of junior tactics that some other agencies are putting out there that are going to cost you time. You need agents that understand how this market works and make a win-win for you and the seller, making your offer acceptable. Okay, these properties are still selling in a 2-week time period, most of them within the first 14 days. Okay. And again, when you understand those metrics, you understand your averages, then we're going through the property, making sure there's no big issues, and then giving you that green light. Yes, we concur. Move forward on this. So reach out to us. That's the OklahomaRealEstateShow.com. There's a contact tab, or you can email out. You can even email me, Landon, LANDON, at OKCReal.com. Next week, coming up is the numbers. This is the recap as we go into spring. If you're a seller thinking of selling, you want to know these numbers. Stay tuned for next week. That's an episode you don't want to miss. Also, subject 2 coming up. That's creative financing options. That guest keeps getting pushed back. We also have my government professor from college going to be coming on the show to explain all different types of history of landowning, tips and tricks that we've learned in the past that we can bring into the future when currency is unstable, where we've learned a lot from the past. He's got some interesting tidbits to bring, all that coming up. So make sure you like and subscribe to the podcast, the radio program. You can click the little bell anywhere, whether you're a Spotify, we're on SoundCloud, we're on Apple, we are even on iHeartRadio, we're on Sirius XM satellite radio, which is my dad, by the way, is the one of the senior program directors there, so we support Sirius XM satellite radio. We're on the Pandora app, which is owned by Sirius XM. You can find us there. We love your listeners, and again, if you have not left feedback, do it. If your question in the feedback form gets read on the air, you won yourself a glow-in-the-dark t-shirt. Visit OklahomaRealEstateShow.com. About 2/3 down the home page, there is the form there. We love your feedback. I love your feedback. I want to hear from you. You empower me on what to research with our team, where you want to stay focused so we can make this show applicable to you every single Tuesday. Thanks for watching the show, and I'll see you next week.
If you're thinking it's time to buy or sell a home in Central Oklahoma, why not work with a broker you already know and trust? The Oklahoma Real Estate Show was created by real estate broker Landon Witt to help you succeed. It's an award-winning, full-service, licensed real estate brokerage and property management service serving Central Oklahoma. You know that finding the right team in real estate is critical. The Oklahoma Real Estate Show is your boots on the ground with decades of combined experience and most of the team you already know and trust. What are you waiting for? Get started now at oklahomarealestateshow.com. That's oklahomarealestateshow.com.